And as I mentioned, I would like to introduce on stage the UK's Deputy Prime Minister, Dowden. Thanks. Good to see you. Yeah. Sir, thank you so much. I know you have a busy agenda in Washington, so I appreciate you dropping by Global Emerging Technology Summit. And I know we have limited time. I have 3 simple questions. Last time you spoke at the NSCI Summit, you had a different portfolio. That was 2 years ago. The world has changed. How do you observe, so like from London, the recent geopolitical environment, and what is your thought about that?
Well, I think undoubtedly the geopolitical landscape has totally changed since Russia's illegal invasion of Ukraine. And it's something that I was talking at the UN Security Council yesterday about. And for all of us, it has increased the threat landscape enormously. For the first time in most of our lifetimes, we have seen a sovereign European state, a free democracy, illegally invaded, contrary to pretty much every principle we stand for, including all the principles of the United Nations Charter. And actually, I think what it's done is it's changed global politics. First of all, it has meant that contrary to what Putin calculated, he thought that the West would fragment as it has done before. Actually, we came together in the face of Russian aggression, and that was demonstrated at the Security Council again. It has reinvigorated the United Kingdom's relationship with Europe. We have stood foursquare with them in defense of European security, and reinvigorated relationships between the United Kingdom and the United States, because both our nations have been at the forefront of addressing this Russian aggression. Of course, this is also, though, in the context of increasing global instability, increasing Chinese aggression in the South China Sea, and a wider threat landscape in which artificial intelligence also fits in terms of the potential of that to proliferate the risks that we face.
You mentioned artificial intelligence. Last time you spoke at the summit, the purpose of having you there was to really talk about the UK's effort in this space. Much has changed in the last 2 years, the emergence of large language models. So just tell us a little bit about how London views artificial intelligence.
Well, look, I think the first thing, we have to see the huge opportunities there are for artificial intelligence. And I think somebody put it to me the other day in a way that resonated. We need to think about how efficient a human being is in terms of walking or running. Actually, we're kind of to the upper middle of the pack of animals, right? There's other animals that can convert their energy into movement in a much more efficient way. We then invented the bicycle. That shot us massively ahead in terms of the way we can deploy the same energy in an efficient way to achieve movement. For me, that is the opportunity of artificial intelligence. It can take human endeavor and it can supercharge it and look at the sort of challenges we face, whether it's seeking to diagnose cancers, whether it's in relation to big global challenges like climate change, the potential of the application of AI to solve the challenges we face as a world. I saw this again at the United Nations earlier this week. I was talking about the Sustainable Development Goals. Applying AI to that means that we can massively advance a human ability. On the flip side, though, we also have to take very seriously the risks that are being presented to us in relation to AI, not least by the very frontier tech companies that are developing the AI themselves. So the other side of what I'm doing, and I've had meetings in Washington and New York about this and others around the world, is how we bring together the international community to address those challenges. So our Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak, agreed with President Biden earlier this year that the United Kingdom would host the world's first Frontier AI Summit, which we'll do at the beginning of November. And there's a lot of different initiatives going on around the world right now, but this one is aimed specifically at Frontier AI. So what we're seeking to do is bring together the entrepreneurs and the CEOs who are developing this technology with world leaders, with wider representatives of civic society, to do two things, really. First of all, to get a common understanding of the exact nature of the threats and indeed how they fit in with the national security landscape. And then secondly, to try and start the process of how, as a global community, we can address that. And one of the things we've done in the UK is to create the AI task force. And the AI task force is bringing together experts, world-leading experts, Turing Prize winners and others, with, crucially, GCHQ, which is one of our digital intelligence agency, to try and work together collaboratively on that. If we can then broaden that out to an international consensus, I think that will be an important step forward as to how we understand these risks and think about how we can mitigate them.
Incredible. I think it's natural for London to host this summit. I mean, you have incredible universities, incredible private sector, vibrant cities in a really close proximity, which makes UK the center for the innovation. What do you think would be the key outcomes of the AI Safety Summit in November?
Well, I would hope, and if I've been involved in much international summitry, as I'm sure many people in this room have been. You will never in one summit change the world. But what you can do is take a positive step forward in the right direction to address some of the challenges that we face in the world. And if out of that, we can achieve a common understanding with like-minded nations around the world, indeed the wider global community, about the challenges we need to focus on. And then secondly, bring together knowledge and expertise and create some kind of institution, some kind of institutional framework, or at least the beginnings of that from this. So in the same way that, for example, the IPCC has been created and other international institutions that look at emerging threats that we face as a humanity over the decades, I think we need some kind of institution like that in respect of AI. And I hope that we will take a step at least towards that at that summit.
Thank you, sir. A last question, because I know you have to run out, but we have Secretary Blinken right after this providing recorded remarks. I know you hosted with him the Sustainable Development Goals meeting in New York during the UNGA week. Some of the key takeaways from that meeting that strike you as an outcome?
Well, first of all, the United Kingdom played an important role in creating the Sustainable Development Goals. We're very proud of the role we played in that. We're now halfway to the 2030 Sustainable Development Goals, and it's clear we have a lot more work to do. I mean, when we came up with those, COVID had never been heard of, for example. So there is more work to do together, but the United Kingdom is really committed to that. We recommitted to it. I know it's a priority also for the White House and for the current administration. But what I also think is it goes back to some of the conversations we started on here. For me, if you look at the world's greatest challenges, whether they're climate change, whether they're global poverty, the application of technology through free markets with a proportionate regulatory system is the way that you solve them. We've lifted more people out of poverty in the past 20 years than in all of human history through a combination of technology, open free markets. And I think that is the opportunity that you get from artificial intelligence. If we get it right, it can turbocharge our ability to address some of humanity's greatest challenges.
Thank you, sir. I know you have to run out of time. And I want to thank you again for coming by. You were here with us 2 years ago, although virtually because different times. I wish you can come back in our next editions of the Global Emerging Technology Summit. And thanks again if you join me with a round of applause for Deputy Prime Minister Dowden. Thank you so much.